What's up guys, and welcome to the 2019 F1 Season Mod Showcase, and also the preview to my career mode with this mod. So with the curtain closing on the real life 2018 season, what better time to showcase this 2019 mod? As of today, the final F1 grid for the 2019 season has also been announced, so all of the drivers and teams mentioned in this mod will be competing in the first race of the season at Albert Park. Now, just 2 of the 10 teams on the F1 grid have retained the same drivers from 2018, so driver names and helmets along with team liveries have all been updated in this mod. So starting off with the reigning Constructors champions Mercedes, and they are in fact one of only 2 teams on the grid to have retained their driver lineups. The Silver Arrows also keep their famous silver livery, however there are a few subtle changes that you'll be able to notice. There's a darker green on the front wing of the car, and also a black engine cover on the back, probably the most notable changes on the car. Lewis Hamilton will be looking to take another title this season, and after beating Valtteri Bottas by well over 150 points last season, the Finn will be looking for a strong season if he wants to be retained for 2020. It's looking like Mercedes will once again have a strong car this season, with Ferrari and Red Bull likely to be their main rivals. Next up then we have Ferrari, who have changed their driver lineup for the first time since 2015. Their 8-year association with Kimi Raikkonen is now over, and he has been replaced by the 2017 Formula 2 champion Charles Leclerc. F1 fans will know exactly what a talent this young man is after an impressive rookie season in F1 at Sauber, scoring 39 of Sauber's 48 points in the 2018 season. Sebastian Vettel will be looking to banish his demons from last season and mount a serious championship challenge that will hopefully last to the end of the season. He won just once after the mid-season break last year after being scarred by crashing out from the lead in his home race at Hockenheim. The traditional Scarlet Red Ferrari hasn't really changed much from 2018 in terms of its livery, apart from that number 16 that will be showing on the front of one of the 2 cars. Despite taking 5 race victories last season, there are wholesale changes at Red Bull for 2019, notably the fact that Daniel Ricciardo has ended his 10-year association with the Red Bull family to move on to pastures new at Renault. And funnily enough, Red Bull have cut ties with Renault from this season onwards after a fractious relationship since the start of the turbo hybrid era. They've opted to go for a Honda power unit in the back of their car for 2019, taking after their sister outfit Toro Rosso, who did the same in 2018. A man who's had a year's experience with that Honda power unit is Pierre Gaz Lee, and he makes the step up from the junior team to the main Red Bull outfit for the start of 2019, in what could be quite a feisty driver relationship with Max Verstappen. The Dutchman feels like he is able to win his first world title after taking a couple of victories last season, but will the Honda power unit allow them to do just that? Next up we have Renault, who really broke the bank to get Daniel Ricciardo on board for 2019, and they're really going to have to splash the cash on the car itself if they want to get up there with the likes of Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull. He will be joined by myself in the car, so we'll really have a good chance in the game to be able to develop this car, whether it be the engine, the aerodynamics or the chassis. Hopefully by the end of the season we will be able to get close to that top 3. Renault have opted to keep what has now become a little bit of an iconic yellow livery, and I've actually ditched a little bit more of the black, so it's really going to stand out on the grid in 2019, and hopefully we'll be seeing it further up the front of the grid. 2018 was Haas's most successful season in F1, and they've retained the driver lineup that got them 5th place in the standings in 2018. But the big change at Haas for 2019 is the livery. You'll be able to see a black and gold livery for the American team this year, courtesy of the takeover from Rich Energy. The energy drink company have taken the main sponsorship on the car, and it's the first time that we've seen a black and gold livery on the F1 grid since Roman Grosjean drove the Lotus back in 2015. I've got to say this is probably one of the nicest looking liveries that we've got in this mod, and fingers crossed they will bring it back onto the F1 grid in the real life season. 2018 was tough for McLaren, but somehow they managed to pull through to take P6 in the Constructors' standings. But it is all change at the team this season. Obviously, Fernando Alonso going into retirement and Stoffel Van Dorn moving on to Formula E has allowed Carlos Sainz to take what will probably be the #1 driver role at the team, alongside runner-up in the 2018 Formula 2 Championship, Lando Norris. It's been a couple of years since McLaren had a British driver at the helm. The 2017 Monaco Grand Prix, a one-off appearance from Jenson Button, and they will be looking to progress further up the grid this season. They've decided to stick with the orange, going for a bit of a darker colour, it has to be said, but still a really nice looking livery on that McLaren. Force India had a torrid time off the track in 2018, falling into administration after the Hungarian Grand Prix, but they came back strongly under the new name Racing Point Force India, and that is the name that they'll be going under for the 2019 season. In just 9 races, they managed to leapfrog Williams, Toro Rosso and Sauber in the Constructors' standings. But this season, the driver lineup has changed from the second half of last year, with Esteban Ocon moving to a reserve driver role at Mercedes, and he is replaced by Lance Stroll, former Williams driver and the son of Lawrence Stroll, who is now the majority shareholder in the team. BWT have stuck around as the main sponsor, but this season they've gone for a slightly darker pink livery, and I've got to say I am a big fan of this one, and yeah, hopefully they can bring this to life in the real life season. After being regarded as a bit of a backmarker team in previous years, 2018 was the time where Sauber very much established themselves back in the midfield of Formula 1, scoring 48 points under the guidance of Alfa Romeo as their new title sponsor. This year though, it is all change in their driver lineup. Replacing Charles Leclerc is Kimi Raikkonen in a straight swap from Ferrari, and Antonio Giovinazzi is also on board at Sauber, replacing Marcus Ericsson, who has gone off to IndyCar. They'll be looking to consolidate their position in the midfield, with of course the experience of Kimi Raikkonen is going to be vital over the course of the season. Livery wise, they've stuck with the red and white that they had last season, and I've got to say it does look as good as ever. Next up we have Toro Rosso, and this is a bit of an interesting one in terms of the driver lineup. Daniel Kvyat returns for another crack at Formula 1. Of course, he got ditched by Red Bull in 2016 and also by Toro Rosso a season later in 2017, but he is back in 2019 to join rookie Alexander Albon. Just like Daniel Kvyat, Albon was removed from the Red Bull Young Drivers Programme, but after finishing third in the 2018 F2 season, he is back for his first crack at Formula 1. Now, in the last couple of seasons, Toro Rosso have boasted, in my opinion, probably the nicest livery on the F1 grid. So it's undergone a little bit of a subtle change, but has still kept that lovely sort of mid-blue, royal blue. I don't really know what you could describe it as. Whatever it is, it's a really nice blue, and it's staying on the car for this season. Last but not least, we have Williams, who will be hoping for quite a turn in fortunes this season, because, well, they had an absolutely torrid time in 2018, scoring points in just 2 rounds out of 21. But like many teams, they have changed their driver lineup. They've got rid of Sergei Sorokin, Lance Stroll, of course, moving on to Force India, and they have replaced the two of them with, I'd say, a very contrasting driver partnership. The first driver that they announced was George Russell, 2018 Formula 2 champion, and of course a Brit as well. And joining him will be Robert Kubica, who is on the F1 grid for the first time since 2010. The Pole took his one and only Formula 1 win 11 years ago in 2008 at Canada, but he is back for another crack at Formula 1 after making a miraculous recovery from a rally crash that he had back in 2011. So that's your grid for the 2019 F1 season mod. If you do want to check out any of the liveries or helmets or anything that I've done in this video, then do make sure to check the description. And join me on Wednesday, where I'll be uploading the Australian Grand Prix for this modded career series. Hopefully you guys do enjoy it. And the aim is to sort of do 2 videos a week and hopefully see you guys through the winter break and at least have a little bit of Formula 1 action. So drop a like if you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you for the first round in Melbourne. And until then, take care. Bye bye.